All right, so this is topic 10, Math Museum, okay? We're working with multiplying fractions and we're working with a little bit of time. So the first question is, Margot practices her flute 1/4 an hour each day, and they gave you a hint, units of time. 1 week is 7 days, 1 hour is 60 minutes. Write and solve an equation to find how many hours Margot practices her flute in 1 week. Well, if each day is 1/4 and 1 week is 7 days, my sentence is 7 times 1/4. Now I can cover that denominator. 7 times 1 equals 7, and my denominator is 4. If you left it as 7/4, that's totally fine, but I encourage you to simplify. It is important to remember and learn how to simplify. My remainder is 3/4, so she practices 1 3/4 hours each week. Moving right along. Part B. Write and solve an equation to find how many minutes Margot practices her flute in 1 day. Then use that to find the number of minutes she practices in 1 week. So I remember the table told me 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. And they told me that she practices 1/4 of an hour each day. So I have to think 1/4 of an hour is how much of 60 minutes? So I have to do 1/4 times 60. Now you might already know that, okay? Because we've talked about how a half hour is 30 minutes and a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. You might not. You might have gotten 60/4. Can we leave it like that? No. So we have to do 60 divided by 4, which is 1 times 4. Okay, and that's 20. And I know that she practices 15 minutes a day. Second part of the question, because I'm not done. Then use that to find the number of minutes she practices in 1 week. Well, 1 week, I remember, is 7 days. So now I have to take that 15 and multiply it by 7. Now you can use partial products, you can use standard algorithm. Your strategy is your strategy. You can add 15 7 times, okay? That is also a strategy. So she practices for 105 minutes. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 2. Which of the following represents the fraction 8/9 as a multiple of a unit fraction? Unit fraction. Remember that little trick I showed you. Unit fraction has 1 in its numerator. So I'm looking for a 1 in the numerator. 8/9 is equal to 1 times 8/9. That is true, but it's looking for a unit fraction. So that answer is wrong. 8/9 is equal to 8 times 9. Well, that's just wrong math. 8 times 9 is 72. Okay. 8/9 is equal to 8 times 1/9. Well, 1/9 I know is a unit fraction. So that is a possibility. And my last one is 8/9 is equal to 4 times 2/9. Well, 4 times 2/9 is 8/9. However, it is looking for a unit fraction. It was very specific in its directions. So our answer is C. Number 3. Ben played at a friend's house for 2 hours, 35 minutes. Later, he played at a park for 1 hour, 10 minutes. He played for another hour and 20 minutes in his backyard. How long did Ben play in all? In all is telling me to add. So I have to add 2 hours, 35 minutes, plus 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now, I like to add 2 at a time. It's just the way I add. If you added all 3 at a time, congratulations, not for me, okay? So I have now 3 hours and 45 minutes. Then I have to take that third addend, and I have 3 hours, 45 minutes, plus 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is equal to, now, if you left that, you would be correct. However, 65 minutes is more than 1 hour. Anything over 60 is more than an hour. So I subtract 60. Oops, excuse you. Oh no. I subtract 60 and I make that, and I give that hour to the 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So he played for a total hour of 5 hours, of total time of 5 hours and 5 minutes. Choose the numbers from the list to fill in the missing values in the multiplication equations. Use each number once, so no repeats, okay? So 7/8 is something times some sort of eighth. Well, how do I get to 7/8? I can put the 7 here, and I can multiply that by 1/8. Because remember, 7 is a prime number. So I can only multiply 7 times 1 to get 7. I'm going to cross out 1 and 7 because am I allowed to use them again? No, it says use each number once. So now I'm going to go to the next one. 3 times 1 something is equal to some sort of fourth. Well, if this denominator is here, then that needs to be that denominator. So now I just solve. 3 times 1/4 is 3/4. So I cross out the 3 and I cross out the 4. Okay, same thing. This is the denominator, so that has to be the denominator because right now I'm just using whole numbers and fractions. So 5 times 1/6 is 5/6. And our last, 8 times 1/2. All I have to do here is solve. 8 halves, and look at that, I've used all the numbers only once. This looks a little scary at first. It's just a riddle. It's just a puzzle, okay? Just try it out and fill in the blanks. Follow the directions there. And remember, denominators, when multiplying by whole numbers, don't change. All right, this is another one where we have to solve 4 times. And let's see what matches up. Chris found the products of whole numbers and fractions. Match each expression with its product. Last topic, you had to solve twice. This one you only solve once, so good for you. Okay? Now, 5 times 2 is 10/4. I don't see 10/4, so I'm going to have to change this to a mixed number. 2 times 4 is 8, which is 2 2/4. It's there. It's also 2 1/2 if you were going to simplify. Let's move on to the next one. 6 times 5/6 is 36. I can't leave it like that because there is no 36. Aren't you so glad I asked you to simplify 1,000,000 times? Okay. That answer is 5. So I make sure it's the second row and the first column. Okay. I'm going to scoot over to here just for space purposes. 6 times 3/8 is 18/8. Can't leave it like that. It's not an option. So 2 times 8, 16, 2 2/8. It could also have been 1/4, but it didn't simplify. All right, last one. You didn't have to solve, right? But it's good practice. 5 times 3 is 15/5. and I know 15 divided by 3, I'm sorry, 5, sorry, 15 fifths, 15 divided by 5 is 3. That one is testing your knowledge. Do they know how to multiply a whole number by a fraction, and can they convert it to a mixed number? Those are the skills they're checking. All right, number 6. What is the product of 4 and 4/8? Straightforward, bossy math. We love bossy math. What is the product of 4 and 4/8? Write another expression that is equal to the product of 4 and 4/8. Well, I better figure that one out first. 4 times 4/8 equals 16/8. 8 divided into 16 is 2. Regular 2, whole number. Now, you can come up with any expression you want that equals 2. You would be correct. You could do 6 times 1/2. No, lies. Sorry. Going back. Okay? Let me try that again. You can do 4 times 1/2, and you would get 2. You could show me 2 times 1 is 2, and you would be correct, as long as your expression equals 2. Moving on to number 7. Go back a little bit. Sorry. Okay, here we go. This one made a few people nervous because of the model, okay? But let's just read and fill in the blanks. Complete the multiplication equation that describes what is shown by the model. So 4 times some 6 is equal to 8 times some sort of 6. Well, where do I see 4 groups? 1, 2, 3, 4. And what fraction am I working with? 2, 6. Where do I see 8 groups? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what fraction am I working with? 1/6. And that's all you have to do there. Don't overthink it. Okay, this one is very specific, some more bossy math. Use a unit fraction and a whole number to write a multiplication equation equal to 7/8. So my denominator has to be an 8 because it's telling me my product is equal to 7/8. So my denominator, if I'm using a whole number and a fraction, my denominator has to be 8. Well, what times a unit fraction is equal to 7/8? 7 times 1/8. As long as you read the directions and follow the directions clearly, you're going to be okay. All right, number 9. Juan is making cookies. He makes 2 batches on Monday and 4 batches on Tuesday. He uses 3/4 a cup of flour in each batch. How much flour does Juan use? Monday, Tuesday. 2-step problem. Now I have to go back into the story and see what is attached to Monday. Monday is 2 batches times 3/4. Tuesday is 4 batches times 3/4. So I'm going to solve for each. So I have 6/4, and I encourage you to leave it. Leave it alone. And then I have 12/4. But it's asking me how much flour does Juan use on Monday and Tuesday. So if it's asking me for a total, I'm looking at 6/4 plus 12/4. Now I know how to add fractions. I did that last topic. My answer is 18/4. If you left it like that, of course you would be correct, but change it to a mixed number. It's good practice. You'll thank me one day. Okay? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So 4 whole cups of flour and 2/4, or if you simplify it even further, 4.5 cups. If you left it 4 2/4, you would be absolutely correct. Okay, 2 more. We have number 10 and number 11. And we're good to go. Lee uses 1/5 yard of wire for each ornament he makes. He makes 3 ornaments for his grandmother and 2 ornaments for his mother. How many yards of wire did Lee use? Same concept as before. Who's attached to grandma? 3. 3 times 1/5. And what's the equation for mom? 2 times 1/5. So now I have 3/5 and 2/5. But he's asking me how many yards of wire did Lee use? So I have to add what he made for grandma and what he made for mom, and I get 5/5. And I'm going to look at my options. 5/5 isn't there. But any number over itself, numerator and denominator are the same, it equals 1 whole. Okay? This is testing your knowledge of fractions. Okay? This is testing, can I multiply fractions? Can I add fractions? And then can I convert it to a whole number? And you're thinking it's one silly little question, Mrs. Geider. It asks for a lot. And the last one, number 11. Okay. Woo, all right. Lucas is making 1 dozen snacks for his team. He uses 1/4 cup of dried cherries and 2/4 a cup of dried apricots for each snack. How many cups of dried fruit does Lucas need for 1 dozen snacks? Now, this is very kind of them. Remember, there are 12 snacks in 1 dozen. When you buy a dozen eggs, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but there's 12 in a pack, okay? A dozen equals 12. Write and solve equations to show how you found the answer. They want you to show your work. If you write just one number, it's going to be half credit. Set yourself up for success. So, we're talking about cranberries, and we're talking about apricots. Cherries. 1/4 cup of cherries times 12, because he's making 12 snacks. 2/4 cup of apricots times 12. 12/4, 24/4. Okay? Now, write and solve equations. Here we go. Wait. How many cups of dried fruit? So dried cherries, dried apricots. So they want to know the combination of 2. So 12 plus 24 is 36/4. Can you leave it? Sure. Should you leave it? No. Okay? 36 divided by 4. Now I can skip count. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Right on the nose. 9. That's a whole lot of fruit. 9 cups. 6. Okay? Did I write and solve equations to show how I found my answer? Yes, I did. Okay? Remember, don't send us on a treasure hunt. Box it, circle it, let us know. Okay? So, things you need to know for tomorrow. How to multiply a whole number by fractions. How to add time. Okay? How to multiply with time quantities. And writing and solving equations. Okay?